The thing is, I gotta tell a really long story, or this song won't make any sense. And I think that that's like the hallmark of skillful songwriting. This is a song about a guy by the name of Joe Louis. You guys know Joe Louis?
Yeah, he shot Lee Harvey Oswald.
Indeed. Very sane. But he's perhaps more famous for being a boxer. Not the dog. The guy.
Oh, the shorts.
Joe Louis was heavyweight champion of the world back in the 1930s. And there's a couple of reasons why this was of note. Obviously, the athletic ability it takes to punch someone in the head so hard that they fall down over and over again is pretty impressive. But the other thing about it is that he wasn't just a boxer. Joe Louis was a black boxer from my hometown of Detroit, Michigan. And the reason that's notable is because in the 1930s in America, they did not let black people and white people fight in any official capacity. Because they tried it in the 1890s with a guy named Jack Johnson. And Jack Johnson was an unbeatable oak tree of a man. Just the best boxer up until that point. And he was what you'd probably call like a rock star today. He was like a proud, flamboyant guy. And he wore like chin to ankle fur coats, diamond rings. He used to marry white women. He drove fast sports cars. There's a famous story where he was speeding through town and a white cop pulled him over and said, you know, there's going to be a hefty fine for that. And he goes, how much is it going to be? And he said, $25. And Jack Johnson goes, here's 50 because I'm coming home later. So they didn't like Jack Johnson. Did you ever hear that phrase, the Great White Hope?
Yep.
Do you know what that means? It's actually a phrase that was instigated to describe the clown parade of shitty white boxers who said, I'm going to reclaim the title for the race, and got the shit kicked out of them by Jack Johnson. One after another until Jack Johnson finally aged out, and then they went, let's go back to just us, shall we? And sure enough, it was a segregated sport for the next few decades. And then in the 1930s comes young, charming Joe Louis. He had an electric smile. And, you know, he would also punch you in the head until you fell down. But when you finally came to, there was Joe with that electric smile. You know? And everybody loved him. If you were a young African American kid from Detroit or Philadelphia, Oakland, California, I don't know, Wollongong, Joe Louis was like Superman and Jesus Christ and the President of the United States all wrapped up into one. But he kind of looked like you, and he got to punch white people. But it wasn't just the community, you know. Everyone loved Joe Louis. During World War II, they said, we're going to win because Joe Louis is on our side. And you know what happened? We fucking won. How can you not know that? Don't you read? The Brown Bomber, they called him. He also knocked out Hitler's favorite boxer. Anybody know his name? There's always one creepy dude in every room who knows the answer to that question. Yeah, so what we got back in the 30s is we got young Joe Louis knocking out racism and knocking out fascism and being an all-around motherfucker from top to bottom. Just the best there ever was. And this is true. There was a time in history when there were more songs written about Joe Louis than any other human being except for Jesus Christ, who does not count. His dad got him the job. Sadly, this is not a song about Joe Louis. This is a song about the first person to ever get executed in the gas chamber in the state of North Carolina. That's right. And this song is going to make you feel good. It's going to give you faith in your neighbor, in your fellow citizen. Even the people in this room, you're going to feel better about them too. You're going to have to do exactly as you're told. But it's going to work out for us in the end. Because I heard this story. And it goes like this. Back in 1936 in the state of North Carolina, on death row. Do you have the death penalty here?
No.
Good for you.
Not yet.
Right.
We're working on it.
So back then on death row, they were making a switch from the electric chair to the gas chamber. And they wanted to find out if it was cruel or inhumane. At this point in the story, when I'm on tour, I usually have to explain to my audience that I come from a nation where gassing someone to death is not automatically cruel.
Like your children's show.
Right. We need more information. Anyway, here's what they did. They found a young black kid who had committed some infraction or other. They escorted him into the gas chamber. They said, "Have a seat. We'll wait outside." And they put a microphone in the gas chamber with him. And they waited to see what his last words were going to be. Was he going to call out for his mother and his father? Beg for clemency from the governor of the great state of North Carolina? Maybe the President of the United States himself would intervene on his behalf. Maybe something higher, I don't know. It may not surprise you because I've been sort of telegraphing my punches, so to speak. But I think it was a great surprise to the people in the room that day when this young man's last words were, "Save me, Joe Louis, save me." Here's hoping things get better after I'm gone away. If I was there with you, I would drink myself blind. But these hard times could be here all day. And Mr. Roosevelt in the White House can deliver no comfort down here. And I know that it's only a paper moon, but it's the last hope to fight back this fear. I said, "Save me, Joe Louis, save me." The last words that I'll ever say. Save me, Joe Louis, save me. And let the gas chamber take me away. good night, this is a sing-along. We having a good night? Yeah? Who's gonna sing with me?
We all. Yeah.
That was a decent response, but I'm gonna need more enthusiasm from you. So let me ask you one more time. Who intends to sing the shit out of this motherfucker? Yeah, like that. One more time. Who intends to sing the shit out of this motherfucker? I like it. So here's the thing. You got one more verse here to prepare yourselves. And maybe Joe Louis doesn't mean that much to you, so
You try Rolf Harris.
you need to think of your own personal Joe Louis. And by that I mean when they're escorting you into the gas chamber or pushing you in front of a bus. However it is they get you. Who are you going to call out for? I think you may be surprised. I mean, some of you are going to go, God, come in my spirit, but I'm guessing by the demographic of the room that at least 40% of you are going to go, help me, Obi-Wan. So whoever it is, Amelia Earhart or Buster Keaton or Boss Tweed or Boss Hogg or I don't know, Margaret Thatcher, I don't know what kind of crowd I'm working with here.
Not that. Frank Zappa.
Frank Zappa. So that's who you're going to be thinking of when you're singing Save Me Joe Louis. And I promise you, you're going to feel really good. So everybody turn to page 47 in your hymn notes and get prepared to sing the shit out of this motherfucker. Like the echo down in the salt mine, like the tone of a funeral bell, like a blow that could take out a Jack Dempsey. I'm gonna call out when they drag me from my cell. Here we go. Save me, Joe Louis, save me. The last words that I'll ever say. A little bit louder, please. Save me, Joe Louis, save me. And let the gas chamber take me away. You got it now? Louder. Save me, Joe Louis, save me. The last words that I'll ever say. Even louder. Save me, Joe Louis, save me. And let the gas chamber. Everybody stand up and sing it like we're in church. Come on, you'll sing better, I promise. Save me, Joe Louis, save me. The last words that I'll ever say. Save me, Joe Louis, save me. And let the gas chamber take me away. Real quiet now. Even quiet. Just a whisper. Just a whisper. It's going to sound really good when I sing it loud this next time. You ready? Save me, Joe Louis, save me. The last words that I'll ever say. Save me, Joe Louis, save me. And let the gas chamber take me away. And now just me, one time, so we remember who's in charge. Just to prove that you're not that much better than me. So I'm going to sing it one time by myself, and I'm going to go, ooh, like I always do. And I'm going to turn around a couple of times, like I always do. And then I'm going to sit down in that chair, one of them.
Do a hockey.
And that's going to be the end of this song, and then we'll figure out what we do from there. Joe Louis, come and save me today.